Yes, they are, but it really throws a wrench into the works on these teams because they've got the car set up for one atmospheric condition, and all of a sudden here's complete new weather change, and it gives them a fit.
In the near lane will be Lori Johns, Corpus Christi, Texas. She has had 3 NHRA national event victories this season. Her opponent, Chris Karamesines, Chicago, Illinois, has been racing 35 years and has none. Don't think that bothers him a little bit, do you, Doc?
Doesn't bother him at all. He loves to race.
And I tell you what, nobody knows quite how old the man they call the Greek is. Any ideas, you guys?
I can tell you that he was a soldier in World War II.
The story is, at the age 16, the Greek kind of fibbed about his age and got in at the very end of the war. But one thing is for sure, Lori Johns' mom and dad hadn't even met each other when the Greek first started driving top fuel dragsters.
So I suppose it wouldn't be appropriate to make the observation that Lori Johns could even be his granddaughter. Is that possible?
Yes, sir, it sure could.
Well, the Greek doesn't drive like a grandpa. He out-qualified Lori Johns here and is sitting on the best car he has enjoyed in a long, long time. Talk about your contrast. The Greek away first. The Greek has got her. The up and down season for Lori Johns continues. She either wins or goes out early here in Montreal last weekend, the Spring Nationals, Columbus, Ohio.
A stout run.
16 was never even in it.
That is Joe Amato getting ready to go in the second pairing of the Top Fuel semifinals here as the crew chief right behind him, Tim Richards, working on that engine, making the final adjustments. That's the Greek. The underdog here, the decided underdog, Don Garlitz.
Do you know, Brock, that this is the first NHRA national event that the Greek has ever been in the semifinals? I bet his heart is thumping like a young robin's breast.
Well, it'll be interesting to see because he's going to get a legitimate test here against the former world champion, Joe Amato. So if the Greek can put him away, he's on his way to some great things. Could be the upset of the year in the making. And now let's go to Steve at the far end.
Well, Gary Ormsby certainly just proved something to everyone, racer and fan alike. Not only is this racetrack very good, but as the day cools off, these cars are going to run quicker. A 5:05, low elapsed time of the event.
It felt real good, and we tuned her up like we said last time. We tuned her up a little bit. We knew we had a tough hombre next to us there, and we tuned her up a little bit for that round.
You got to be hoping that 05 will give you lane choice.
We really do.
You don't like that left lane?
No, I think the right lane is a little better, although we just went down at 5:05. What are you going to say?
You want to stay there.
Yeah, who knows? I'll let Lee make that decision.
You get used to that bump now. You and it are friends.
Yeah, as long as I can run 5:05, I'll take the bump.
Does that bump bother Dexter as much as a funny car, do you think? They're the ones that complain the most about it.
I don't think so, Steve. I don't even feel it myself. I know it's there, but I don't feel it. Yeah.
Gary Ormsby, what a shot.
Boy, it's going to be a good one as the speeds get quicker here. The Greek now ready to go against Joe Amato. What do you think, Don Garlitz?
Well, this ought to be some kind of a race. You know, if I was just sitting in the cockpit and I was Joe Amato, I would think to myself, this is an easy one, and I'd already be thinking ahead to the time that I was going to turn for lane choice with Ormsby.
The Greek smokes the tires. Amato breaks up in the Greek gets back of the pedal. Chris Karamesines recovers to upset Joe Amato. It is bedlam on the starting line. Brock is there with crew chief Lance Larson.
Lance, I'll tell you what a courageous ride, huh? The man stayed in it all the way, huh?
That's him.
I know that.
He does it for us all the time. I mean, he's got 35 years of experience. His first NHRA final, I couldn't be happier for him.
He never gave up, did he? He just stayed with it.
He never gives up. He doesn't even know how to do that.
Fantastic.
What an excited crew, and I don't blame them. For the first time in his career, the Greek is in the final. He goes against Gary Ormsby. Ormsby has lane choice. Let's go to Steve with Chris.
Right, you smoked the tires, you stayed with it.
Yeah, well, anything goes at the last run.
Can you spell the word lift, L-I-F-T?
Not anymore. It's a shame. I used to do it, but not anymore. I mean, I never did. Now why should I do it now? That's
why quit now.
Right?
What can you do for the final? Can you tango with Ormsby? You saw his 5:05.
I think we just play with the clutch a little. We might be all right.
Oh, boy. What a sentimental figure that man's going to be. Hello, Chicago.
Boy, if he pulls this one off, they'll be rocking and rolling on the loop. I'll guarantee you that. And now, let's go back to our man on the road, Steve AAA Evans, for more reports on driving in Canada. Well, you think Canadian gas is expensive? How about this stuff that Chris Karamesines is dumping into his tank? That's nitro, 30 bucks a gallon.
And when you run on Chris's budget, you don't spill a drop. Chris Karamesines preparing for his first ever NHRA Top Fuel final round.
One more race left. The Top Fuel final. Chris, the Greek Karamesines, and Gary Ormsby. Earlier, Steve talked with both of these veterans.
Well, I think if we weren't running for the championship, Steve, I don't even know if I'd even go to the starting line. I just let the Greek have it. He's been racing for 30-plus years, and he's never won a national event. But we got to go up there and try to beat the guy because we are running for the world championship.
And it's people like the Greek that keep a lot of racers going.
That's for sure. You know, he's been an inspiration to me. He was racing probably 10 years before I started, and I've been racing quite a few years. And he was always my hero back then, and now here I am facing him in the final.
You know, Greg, to many people in this sport, old and young, you are the spirit of drag racing. If you win, they'll share vicariously in it.
Well, I think that that might be a nice thing, right, for all of us.
You hear that sound in the background? That's the man that wants to take this first victory away from you, Gary Ormsby. He doesn't want to, but he has to if he can.
Is that right? Maybe I should go talk to him. Maybe we can work a deal.
Is that man laid back or what? There he is, the Greek, Chris Karamesines, in that beautiful new red dragster, and it's a good car, right, Don Garlitz?
Yes, it is. It's running as good as it ever ran. He's got a good team. You know they've sent him to the line. He's ready.
Third stage, the final battle of this long weekend. The Greek and Ormsby. Ormsby stretches it out on the far end and is the champion today. 520, 277 miles per hour for Gary Ormsby.